Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, it's going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Are they definitely done with Daniel Jones from this point? And any shot that Dable is off the sidelines, meaning he gets fired before next season?
They have a general manager in Joe Shane. Every big move has to get approval by ownership. So, look, the bottom line is they don't know who their future quarterback is past this season. Tommy DeVito's clearly not the answer. They don't have it. Drew Lock's not the answer.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, hey, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you. Pinching your own cheek? Because I was looking down and did not know we were getting...
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions. We are in the mix on SportsGrid. Run to the window if you'd like and place the Miami of Ohio catching 23 against the Michigan Wolverines. Game tips, well, maybe 2 minutes ago. We're hot. We're ready. It's not my only college basketball pick tonight because this board, I don't know, there's some hidden juice on it. At least in one spot featuring a ranked team. We will get there. This is Game Time Decisions again here on SportsGrid. I'm Kevin Walsh. We've got an hour to set it up and knock it down where we will hit a little college hoops, a little NBA, recap what we saw yesterday in the National Football League, Saturday in the college football landscape, but we will focus in, as always, on the Monday Nighter, which will involve the team from the NFC East. Before we do that, some NFC East news. Well, would you look at that? Daniel Jones, done in New York with the Giants. Adamant, everybody in New York, that this is a football decision, not a money decision. You know what I take that as? I take that as the Giants not offering up Daniel Jones the out that he isn't being benched because he's been terrible. Yeah, the contract's the main reason, but he's also been terrible. He's been bench-worthy. He has 8 touchdowns. He's played 10 games. As always, Daniel Jones has been bad, as he has been for all of his time as the Giants quarterback, save a month where he beat Minnesota twice and a Jeff Saturday coach Colts team once. An embarrassing decision is coming to a close. Daniel Jones will be cut by the Giants, and they will look to hit the reset button. Tommy DeVito gets the start because, again, they are making a business decision. And Drew Lock has incentives that will get him more money if he plays. And why would you bother giving Drew Lock more money? I don't know why they even signed Drew Lock, quite frankly. They've been making a lot of bad decisions. The questions around the Giants, just to really zone in on this, are not about Daniel Jones or DeVito or Lock. It's about their general manager, and even more importantly, I believe their head coach in Brian Dable. Somebody who a lot of people, I think, were very, very high on when he got the job. Then he goes out there and, I believe, wins Coach of the Year his opening season, and it's been all downhill since. I think Dable's still a good coach. I don't know if he is going to be fired, but all signs suggest yes. Can't wait to figure out what that means for Dable. I don't think he would get another shot as an NFL head coach. The college game could call. He does have ties to that where he was an offensive coordinator with Alabama. Perhaps an offensive quarter job somewhere in the National Football League. Detroit likely will need a replacement, and what a replacement Brian Dable would be. Let's get into tonight's game, though, where the Houston Texans in Dallas are 7.5-point favorites. Your total for this one is 41.5. For the Texans in Stroud, boy, they could use a layup, and this projects as that. A tough Thursday night loss where they were shorthanded against the Jets was followed up by a gut-wrenching, really inexcusable loss at home to the Detroit Lions. Luckily for them, the AFC South is terrible. The Jaguars are a disaster. The Tennessee Titans, no different. The Colts showing some life because they put Anthony Richardson back under center for their team, but still, Houston has created enough separation and already owns 2 victories against that team. But Dallas could play spoiler. They could. The Cowboys also don't really seem interested in giving up on the season. It's why they made potentially a meaningless move, but still a move at the NFL trade deadline to bring in Jonathan Mingo. And I think it's part of the reason they're still starting Cooper Rush instead of Trey Lance. Well, the odds don't see much of a chance for the Dallas Cowboys to do anything this season. Their price to make the playoffs is 45-1. Super Bowl, win a conference, win a division, none of that is going to happen. But that was true even when Dak Prescott was there. This season has fallen short of even, I think, your biggest pessimist in Dallas's expectations, because this is going to flame out miserably. The question again for Dallas is, can they play spoiler in a few spots? And could we maybe get a little bit of juice in this game against Houston? The Texans' questions are far different. It's, can they bounce back, get right, and position themselves as a true contender in this conference? Every expectation is Houston will be hosting a home playoff game. And if they do so, they're potentially going to line up against the Baltimore Ravens, maybe the LA Chargers. I'm just saying, if you take a look at the landscape right now, Pittsburgh flipping to favorites in the north, the Chiefs having still a good bit of distance against LA, Houston hosting Baltimore would probably be a dog. And against LA, it would be a tight line as the Chargers got a huge win on Sunday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. Let's take all these teams and throw it in the pot and take a look at your AFC outright market. Because it's the Cincinnati Bengals, yes, the 4-7 Cincinnati Bengals, that are catching my eye. Kansas City shifts down a bit after Buffalo grabs the win. I actually think that Buffalo should be much closer to KC compared to Baltimore. This is the Ravens getting far too much respect. This team has bad losses. This team has losses in step-up spots. I do not understand why them beating Buffalo is carrying so much water here in this market. It's not as if they have playoff pedigree. The Bills actually have more of it, I would argue, than the Baltimore Ravens. So that, to me, a bit of a mess. Again, the Ravens being third is fine, but the Ravens being this much closer to Buffalo doesn't really line up. Pittsburgh in front of LA, a little surprised by that, just because I think even if the Steelers get themselves in a good spot, the Chargers will feel more dangerous with Harbaugh and Herbert than the Steelers would with Tomlin and Russell Wilson. It's the back-end portion of the AFC where there is interest. Denver got a huge win in their game against Atlanta. They sit 33-1. Their win total is just 8.5. Miami handled business against Vegas, and it seems as if they could make a playoff push, though the schedule, to me, suggests it's going to be a little bit more difficult. The Colts, again, they get the win. Good for them. I'm still not a believer. Cincinnati at 48-1 has my attention. It really does. They're plus 420 to make the playoffs. I truly believe they could win out. The schedule is there. But, man, this team loves to drop games that they have no business losing. They kind of did it again last night against the Chargers. I mean, I know they were dead to rights, but then they had LA done, and they could not close the door. They're on bye this coming week, Cincinnati, so some time to try and sort through the options, but I am tempted because, my goodness, Joe Burrow has been phenomenal this year, and so has Jamar Chase. Under normal circumstances, they would be MVP and Offensive Player of the Year contenders. The record holds them back. Stroud versus Cooper Rush, though, as we return to the spotlight that is Monday Night Football has one quarterback looking for an over 1.5 passing touchdown number at minus 102, and another quarterback who's minus 154 just to toss one touchdown. Cooper Rush is the starting point of this game. Cooper Rush was atrocious against the Philadelphia Eagles. But we are starting to get mounting evidence that maybe has more to do with Philadelphia than Dallas. The Eagles' defense looks unbelievable, specifically in the secondary. The Texans' defense gives up loads of passing touchdowns. Most quarterbacks throw at least 2, if not 3, against this team. I'm tempted by some alts. Joe Mixon compared to Rico Dowdle, you will see far too different expectations. Mixon the bell cow in Houston. Dallas, though, suggesting that is what Dowdle will be moving forward. His rushing prop at 53.5 is tempting to me. He looks like he could be a key guy for your parlay players. In the wide receiver game, Nico Collins returns for Houston, which is huge. And we've heard from guys like the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, say he could have played last week, which means he should be great to go this week. We'll continue to break down Monday Night Football with you on SportsGrid after this quick break.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Right here with you on Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. Odds in motion, trying to see what lines have moved throughout the week.
Never felt more comfortable in the set than I do for this year. I am ready. I'm just getting angry. The hot takes are going to be here all long, people.
What in the world is going on in Miami, Dom?
It's not particularly anything to shy away from just because many people are on top of it.
Hot take, hot take.
I think this line is asking you once again to take New Orleans.
Pro Football Today, only on SportsGrid.
All right, we're in the mix with you right here on Game Time Decisions. Kevin Walsh on this Monday night, where Monday Night Football with the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys does not have the level of anticipation that we would have expected preseason. Quite frankly, this game would have had plenty of expectations had Dak just remained healthy, because even the bad Cowboys were interesting. It's just like the New York Jets. All those games are interesting. They lose the game, and then we talk about how terrible they are. Man, the Dallas Cowboys are kind of interesting, right? I mean, they're bad, they lose. We talk about how terrible they are. And again, the coach, right, is another thing that we take a look at here. Tonight, though, feels like for Dallas, they could be live. They are now 0-4 at home. At some point, you expect this team to grab a home win. Now, yeah, it's more likely it comes on a Thanksgiving Thursday against the New York Giants and Tommy DeVito, where they'll likely be booked as favorites, but Cooper Rush had pulled off plenty of upsets in his prior time filling in for Dak Prescott. It is what made that game against Philadelphia so surprising, or jarring is maybe the better answer. I understand that with that Eagles win, people could just go, oh, come on, you're playing Cooper Rush, what would you expect? Not Cooper Rush to average 2 yards per pass attempt. 23 attempts for 45 yards. And it wasn't much better when Trey Lance checked in either. 17 of 29, those two quarterbacks, they combined for 66 yards passing on 29 attempts. It was really, really bad. But Philly's defense has looked great. It really has. I would like to think for Dallas that now getting a little bit of extra time and including that additional day with this being on a Monday, they should look better. And I do believe Cooper Rush starting in this game. I know this will sound crazy off of how he played, but it suggests Dallas is putting their best foot forward. The season is lost. We showed you the odds. Everything suggests they are done. 45-1 to make the playoffs. That is absolutely done, right? I mean, sitting here at 3-6, the back end right now of the NFC playoff picture is going to require, I think, a much better record, at least it seems like, than that of the AFC playoff picture. So it is hard to envision getting, I mean, right now, the Washington Commanders actually own that last spot at 7-4, right? So it just gives you an idea, the difference right now of things. You have 10 teams that have at least 5 victories right now within that conference, just 8 in the AFC. Dallas isn't making it. So starting Trey Lance and seeing if you have anything would make sense. It is probably something that many will implore Dallas to do. It is something at some point this year Dallas probably will do. But starting Cooper Rush to me says the Cowboys are going out there and putting their absolute best foot forward in trying to secure a win. I started the day worried about betting some Cooper Rush props because I think he could be benched. I don't think that happens unless he's atrocious, at which point then we should have never been betting Cooper Rush props. Specifically the ones that I'm lining up, which is his passing touchdowns. The Houston Texans have allowed 4 of their last 5 opposing quarterbacks to throw 2+ passing touchdowns. All 5 threw at least 1, and 3 out of the 5 threw 3 passing touchdowns. Caleb Williams is the only starter this year to play this defense and not throw a passing touchdown against them. 7 out of the 10 opposing starting quarterbacks have thrown multiple passing touchdowns against the Houston Texans. So now we line up the numbers on Cooper Rush, and to throw 1 passing touchdown can be found at -142. To throw 2 passing touchdowns is, again, looking between books, but around +400 or +370. Those are the numbers that I'm looking to line up. Now, you could certainly say, well, why don't you then just bet CeeDee Lamb +260? How does he throw one and it's not? Because I don't know. Because he throws it, a Rico Dowdley breaks one. Or because Jalen Tolbert goes, I don't know what you want me to tell you, right? Sometimes that's how things happen. What's interesting, though, is trying to kind of walk the line on the Cooper Rush 1.5 passing or a half a passing touchdown. Do you want to bet anything that involves Rush at above -140? Probably not. Though you have to remember the standard for this market. Just look across the field. C.J. Stroud is -620. -620 to throw a passing touchdown. You're talking about, a massive, massive gap there that could potentially lead me to play that number then on Cooper Rush. The other tempting thing would be to take a look right now at Rico Dowdle. We've heard from Dallas that they believe Dowdle will be their standalone, almost bell cow level back going forward. And he has now had 12 carries in 2 consecutive games. I would think that that number is something they are hoping to get up a little bit higher. His prop tonight is 13.5. I go back and forth on if I want 13.5 attempts or 53.5 yards. I tend to think it would be the yards, but I am still looking to split hairs. And yes, we are here on Game Time Decisions, and I am still making some because that's the nature of this game tonight. I'm really interested in what we do with Nico Collins because we are not getting discounts on Nico Collins as he returns from injury. But it feels like that could be due to the nature of how Houston treated everything with Nico Collins. The guys, again, over at SixScore.com, the Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow, who've been with us all season, have said that they think they could have played Nico on the Sunday nighter against Detroit, but we're being smart and we're being cautious, which is sometimes a rarity from teams, but then does suggest Nico can be full gas. Well, he better be because 74.5 is hardly a discount here tonight for Collins. The total, by the way, at 41.5, also something I'm circling. Something we'll talk a little bit more with Joe Lisi in just a few moments, but we'll go to the basketball world next here on SportsGrid.
Together, both Davante Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the 2 big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, it's going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Quarterly, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, back right here on Game Time Decisions, talking basketball. Firstly, college game right now, Michigan early lead of 20-14 against Miami of Ohio, which taking 23 points, that is fine. Both teams right now are getting their three-point shots up, but Michigan is hitting them at an excellent clip, which is allowing them to score at the rate at which they are. On the college board tonight, though, my favorite bet is going to involve Arkansas in their game against Pacific. The Razorbacks have had a tough start to the season because it is not just their own games that which they are being measured against, but it is also the performances of the Kentucky Wildcats because of the John Calipari connection. Kentucky is out there playing beautiful basketball. Kentucky is out there beating Duke. Kentucky is out there getting ranked inside the top 10, and it has caused some stir with people around this Arkansas program, more fans than necessarily, not like the coaches. I don't know how the players feel. I don't know if the players care, but I think it has probably put some additional eyes on the Razorbacks and what we're going to see from this team moving forward. Well, for Arkansas, what we have seen up until this point has actually been totally fine. They played Lipscomb. They laid 16.5 at close. They won by 16. So earlier bettors were able to cover some numbers. They lost to Baylor. That's okay. By 5 points, right? That game was on a neutral, though it would shade Baylor, considering it was in Texas, and Baylor was off of getting destroyed by Gonzaga. You knew you were going to get a great effort out of them. They played Troy, a 12.5-point favorite. They win that game by 16. Right now, Arkansas defensively is grading out incredibly well, and I think long-term it should inspire some confidence around this program. Though it is not their defense I am drawn to tonight, it is their offense. That team total at 85.5. It is light, it is vulnerable, and it is my favorite number to attack, and it is because of their opponent. Now, Pacific has played 5 games already this season, which is a bit outrageous. Only 3 of them against Division I competition. And all 3 of their opponents, Hawaii, Northern Arizona, San Jose State, bottom 300 in pace, or bottom 50, 62 in pace, if you get it, if you get what I'm saying, right? 300 or worse in pace. Slow teams, which has allowed Pacific to hang a little bit more than I think their talent will necessarily allow them to against an Arkansas team that is waiting to break out offensively. And Arkansas, who's going to look like they are sprinting on every possession compared to what Pacific has seen so far this season, paired with their athleticism, guys like Boogie Flan, Adu Thiero, I think will put Pacific really against it. Also, John L. Davis, the FAU transfer, has been waiting to have a breakout game. I think he plays his best game in a Razorbacks uniform tonight. If you'd like to play some props, get him at 2+3s at around -102. I think he plays well, but I really love this Arkansas team total, where now all of a sudden the Razorbacks are going to also get what is easily the worst defense they have seen this year. Baylor and Troy both ranked top 60 in defense in all of college basketball. Lipscomb does not rank that high, but they rank significantly higher than that of Pacific, who is currently 225 on KenPom. I think we see the Razorbacks flirt with 100 points in this game and get over that number. Someone just texted me that Paul Skeens won Rookie of the Year, which I know is great news for the boys in the back. We are happy about that. Boy, I hope he somehow steals a Cy Young. I know I shouldn't keep thinking it's possible, but a part of me still thinks it's possible. Few spots on the NBA card tonight. I think the most interesting one is in Milwaukee, as the Bucks are going to be hosting the Houston Rockets. They're going to do so as a 2.5-point favorite. Now, you have a Houston team that is absolutely starting to get it going right now. They're winners of 5 in a row. They currently sit at 10-4, but they are on the NBA's vaunted back-to-back, which could make things a little bit difficult. We are waiting to see what we are going to be getting out of Damian Lillard tonight. Still, I believe, listed as a game-time decision. Giannis has been ruled in for this game, so we will see if that shifts things. Right now, this number sitting at a flat 3. If Dame is back, I think you are going to see the Bucks get the job done. I know they had that terrible home loss to Chicago. The other home losses are Cleveland and Boston. The home wins are not great. They aren't. You're talking about playing Detroit, Toronto, or Toronto, I believe maybe, and Utah. But if they're healthy, if they're back, I think the Bucks are in a good spot. Let's get Joe Lisi in the mix with us here. We're live with you on a Monday night.
together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid, Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Fortunately, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, let's get in the mix with you right here. It's Game Time Decisions on a Monday night. Listen, I don't play favorites, but... and nothing I love more than having Joe Lisi in a mix with me. Come on now, Joe. I mean, what a Sunday.
Yes.
What a Saturday. What a Monday, maybe.
Oh.
How do we feel?
I feel good.
Yeah?
You're getting me pumped up for tonight's game. I wasn't all lamped up, but this Cooper Rush has me excited tonight.
I got to tell you, I was looking at the board. I already kind of talked to the people a little bit about what I liked. And how do we do the rush touchdowns? And the first thing you said to me today, what do you like for tonight's game?
I like Cooper Rush. 2 passing touchdowns.
Forget the one blows through the number.
Plus 420. And not only that, I was actually thinking about tickling the 3+ at 11-1. Love Tolbert tonight, 50+. I love Dalton Schultz on the Texans side. Anytime touchdown plus 360. Oh, man, coming back to Dallas. Yeah. Anytime touchdown. A little pop pass for Dalton.
The Zach Ertz get-back special I know worked for you on Thursday. So I am sure that doesn't help you have a little bit of confidence. When it comes to this game, though, Joe, we talk Rush, okay, Tolbert, Schultz. Do you like the side or total in this game tonight?
I am inclined to take the 7.5 with Dallas just because they played atrocious at home.
Yeah.
And knowing that they go blown out yet again by Philly, first game back for Rush, shaking off the ring rust. I expect a better effort. Again, we know Houston is the much better team and C.J. Stroud, the more consistent quarterback, better defense, better coach up until this point. But again, it's still 7.5.
Yeah.
And I just feel like when it's an in-state rivalry type of game, every time Dallas and Houston play, it's a close game for that matter. Now, Dallas has always had the upper hand, right? I mean, Houston has never been the better team. You can go back to even the days with Deshaun Watson, but those games were close. I think tonight's going to be close. Not suggesting Houston struggles, but it wouldn't shock me if it's a 4-point game or even 7 and you catch it with a half.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to figure out, Joe, is does that mean that I'm betting – because I agree with you kind of. I think you get a better effort out of Dallas. I also believe – so part of this is, me and my spread math.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are better than Houston.
Right.
I think the Eagles are better than everybody,
right.
I guess.
But
right?
they are showing that. Right.
So my point is – Houston's laying that same number. Okay, maybe we've overreacted a little bit there. The Texans are also, maybe Nico Collins will fix this, but the Texans aren't right. The Texans don't cover numbers, right? The loss to Detroit was a cover, but that should have never happened the way it played out. They lose that game to the Jets. The win against the Colts was not a cover. The 2-point loss, at Green Bay. I know they rolled New England, but now you're talking about a month ago, right? Since the last time we saw this team look great. Houston hasn't really created that level of separation there, but it's going to require the Cowboys offense to be much better. So that's why I don't know if the over's the play, a team total's the play. That's what I'm still trying to figure out.
Oh, well, you might get me in on this 41.5 because it is cheap, right? And it's suggesting that Cooper Rush isn't going to be able to do anything against that secondary. Secondary has been very good. They limited Josh Allen, played very well in the loss to the New York Jets and Aaron Rodgers, right? He struggled for much of the first half. It wasn't until the second half they made adjustments where Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams broke out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not suggesting that type of game, but, 24-20, you get the total. You get the total, you get the dog in terms of that matchup. I agree with you with Houston. The pressure's on them now. They're a young team. We saw this play out with Jacksonville last year. 8-3 to start, fell off a cliff, only winning 1 of 6 down the stretch. I'm not suggesting that happens, but as you see teams win, especially in your division, see the Colts pull out a game that they shouldn't have potentially against Aaron Rodgers. All of a sudden you start saying, we need to win this game. We need to win this game. That's where mistakes happen. Even though Nico Collins is back, coming off a hamstring pull, I'm not willing to jump in thinking he's going to throw, receive for 120 tonight.
Yeah, the one thing that is, and again, I'm waiting and figuring out, but it could end up a best bet maybe. And I know it's funny. It's like, well, wouldn't you know now? It's one of these games. You find out the closer you get. CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, 60.5.
10 targets last week, 6 grabs, only 21 yards. That's not who CeeDee Lamb is.
Right.
And I think the workload sticks. If I get 10 targets, I think I get through that yardage. I really believe that, Joe.
Oh, then now you get me on Cooper Rush because somebody's got to throw him the football.
So I guess my point to you is
60.5 is cheap. 80, 90, ultimate to 100.
So that right, if Rush throws for 200 in this game, come on, right? We're not leaving then without.
I needed that.
I know you, but I'm saying my point is he throws for 200. Lamb has 100.
Yeah, you're right. Jake Ferguson could be an option, but here's the thing too. You're right. They fed him 10 targets last week, and he had 21 yards. He did take some deep shots to Tolbert. That's why I like Tolbert in regards to the backup. You got to keep in mind, every quarterback has their favorite target, right?
Yep.
So Dak is obviously CD and Jake Ferguson.
Mm-hmm.
And Cooper Rush, I think, is Tolbert, and he's got to be the number 1 CD, right? So maybe Jake takes a step back tonight, and maybe both of those wide receivers eat. It could be a huge performance. You want to throw both of them together, Tolbert for 40 or 50, and then CD for 100. I'd do that.
What I would say is last week because Lamb did catch one ball from Lance, of Rush's 45 yards, 15 went to Lamb. That's a third of his yards.
Mm-hmm.
And if he gets to $175, then we're getting.
You got to have a better effort, and that was Philly, right?
Yeah. So that's the secondary's flying around. It's flying around that secondary in Philadelphia, but we know that. We've talked about that. We've discussed that. On the Houston side, though, it's funny because we're both talking through the Dallas end of it. There, you mentioned Schultz. But do you have thoughts on Stroud or Mixon? Because I feel like people are kind of trying to figure out, is it the pass attack, is it the rush attack?
Yeah, I don't think it's the rush attack with Mixon tonight. I think if there's one thing Dallas could take away, it is the rushing attack, stack the box, see if that secondary can make plays, right? The fact that Nico's back, again, he's a huge upgrade. I just have concerns when he hasn't played that long, right? It is a hamstring, and we heard Donnie talk about hamstrings, how they can linger, right?
Sure.
One bad cut there, you're bad with the bet. It goes down in flames. So I looked at Tank Dell. Mechie, I know secondary option, 14.5. That's a cheap number. Did have a big touchdown a couple weeks ago. I think that could be a big option.
Yeah, you always love Mechie.
But Mechie's a player that in the slot can make some noise. 14.5 is a cheap number for him.
He's a talented player. He's just not done much this
No,
season.
he hasn't. And Tank Dell is that home run hitter. I'd rather, if we're talking Nico or Tank Dell, I'd rather take a shot on Tank Dell, 100, 110 in that area, just because he's healthy. And it's not a hamstring. I'm not going to waste and watch the guy go down in the first quarter or limit snaps because he's not 100%.
I think that's understandable. Yeah, I think you've probably talked me away from some Nico bets because I'm a little interested. But They're not cheap, is I think the issue.
Well, that's the thing.
Like, I
It's
love a good buy low spot. We're not getting a buy low spot. You're paying Nico Collins like he's ready to rip. No, I wouldn't play him unders, though. I wouldn't.
I'm not suggesting.
Yeah.
It's either a no play or just take limited, we do it from an in-game.
Yeah.
I want to see him perform. I want to see how he looks. Are they going to utilize him? Is he on a pitch count? Do they give him a deep ball? I mean, the deep ball is the home where Nico eats over the top.
Which is why I'll end up now, again, see, we sat here too long. Now I'm going to end up on some Stroud and Rush to combine for 500 yards.
Let's do it.
On.
You want to do it?
Hold on. What's the number? What do you think we're getting? I think it's like plus 260.
That's, I was hoping like 350 or.
Oh, my God.
What is it?
Plus 480.
Oh, let's do it.
All right, so we'll be in on that.
Yeah, we'll do that.
What is that?
That's
480. That's light.
That's a great number.
Stroud could throw for 300.
Yeah. Let's do it.
All right, we'll be in on that.
All
right. So we figured out a little bit now. Let's figure out a lot more. Here's what I'm going to do. I every week we do this, and I go. All right, let's get to the NFL. I'm not doing the NFL next. We're going to the college football landscape. The dogs were barking against Tennessee. Kirby is hot. He's like, I don't know what this committee watches. They don't watch enough SEC football. Kind of like what he's bringing to the table. The AP poll shot, by the way, Georgia back up in front of Ole Miss. Seeing it my way. Seeing it my way in this
They must
AP
have watched
poll.
college football today.
Great segment. Great segment. At Penn's top 10. Most electric segment all of a sudden. We're going to hit a little quick break with you, though, and we'll be right back here. Where is the value in the college football market? Is there any in the Heisman race? We'll talk about it on the other side. With you here, it's Game Time Decisions.
Together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the two big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma would do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Game Time Decisions. We're live with you right here on a Monday night. We got Joe Lisi in the mix. Lisi, a lot for us to get through. I want to start with this, okay? Your best friends here?
Somebody running a little late on somebody behind schedule.
Oh, you're so funny, man.
Hopped right out of my seat when I saw that.
Start with me on this one. Heisman Trophy.
Yes.
The numbers are now Hunter minus 330, Genty plus 340, 14-1 Cam Ward, They popped Curtis Rourke up to 30-1, and then they got Gabriel and Milrose sitting at 35-1. What do you make of the Heisman Trophy race?
It's deserving of Travis Hunter. That performance yet again against Utah, that was a team that had beat them 5 straight. They step up. They win by double digits.
Yeah.
They get the cover. He gets the touchdown. He gets the interception. What more can you ask for in regards to, that kid and that performance? It looks like somebody's all amped up a little bit later. Hopefully he can play the slots. Look at him. He's all amped up.
Go ahead.
So I agree. I mean, the market has shown you that Travis Hunter is in the driver's seat, assuming that Colorado's in a Big 12 championship and they're jockeying for a college football playoff appearance.
Yeah.
What more can you ask for?
So I think for Hunter, he has continued to extend in the market, and I get it. I really do. I think one of the reasons is somebody who's holding that Gabriel ticket. I was like, well, what's going to make the difference for me is my guy's going to keep winning, and everyone else is going to lose. Gabriel keeps winning. It doesn't matter. And I'm telling you this, again, most unbiased man, history of sports media. Good. He doesn't deserve it.
No, he doesn't.
He has not been that good. I'm not trying to be mean.
No.
But he doesn't deserve the invite. He has been good for Oregon.
Yeah.
He's not been a Heisman Trophy level player this season.
No, you're right.
So I think that he's been moved. For me, though, right, if Colorado loses, right?
Right.
I don't know if he wins it.
No, you might. Well,
you know what I mean? Like, I still think the results could be the difference maker.
For him, you think he's got to win out?
Everyone. So, to me, I still think that Cam Ward 14-1 is a little interesting. I do.
He's got 2 games left. Wake Forest, Syracuse, right?
But then he's got to win the ACC title game. And
I'm going to throw a dark horse. And it's a complete lottery ticket.
There's only one name you could say that will get me to agree, but go ahead.
Daly.
No.
Watch this. Here, hang on. You see, I throw you a curveball. What is he, 60-1?
No, he's 300-1.
All right, 300-1.
60.
I thought I saw him at 60. Maybe I was thinking. I might have been thinking of Jackson Dart.
He's 60.
Okay, that's what it was. Daly plays Notre Dame. 16.5-point dogs. They win.
Yeah.
Daly, 250 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. They're undefeated.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, here comes Army.
Right.
AAC champs, undefeated, cracks. They're making the college football playoff. Who is this kid? He's got over 20 tutties on the ground.
I think that's...
I'm just saying.
You know what I think? Here's the thing, Joe, right? Like, if they beat Notre Dame, to me, the committee then would have the responsibility to put them in front of Boise.
You have to.
So we agree.
Right.
I think that gets it. The problem is Daly, nobody even knows who he is.
They'll know him on right.
Yes, I don't know if they'll know him enough for a Heisman race.
No, you're right.
I'm
just saying, it's like what Devontae Smith did now. There's no clear cut at this particular time, and everybody we're talking about isn't undefeated.
So I'm going to throw then out what I thought was going to be the lottery ticket.
Go ahead.
You give it to me because you should, but I'm going to be honest with you.
Go ahead.
Milroe at 35.
I was going to, he's got Oklahoma and he's got Auburn.
It's not that. It's that he might play in that SEC title game.
Yes.
Like he's favorite. If he plays in the game,
35-1. I would take a shot on Jalen Milroe tomorrow. I mean, he's coming off a performance. 12 rushes, 185 yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. I mean, come on.
I wish they were giving us odds to make
LSU.
New York.
Say it again.
Odds to get to New York is what I'd look for.
You could get there.
But I wonder what that number would be.
But they don't give you that.
I know. I don't.
So,
know
what would Daly's number to make New York?
I would be interested in that.
Me too.
I would be.
That would be something I would bet.
I'd be interested in Milroe. I think Ward's a lock to go. If they lose a game,
right.
But I think they're in a good spot that way.
It's a great conversation because you take Jalen Milroe at 35-1.
Yeah.
Let's say I think they're laying 17.5, 18. I haven't really dove into the lines with Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I looked at them early yesterday. Let's say double digit. Let's say 20 plus.
Yeah.
Against Oklahoma, he throws for 250 and rushes for another 3 touchdowns. What are we looking at?
No, I think that again there's a few different options there. I want to throw something out big picture to you.
Go ahead.
We got into a number of conversations with different things. Georgia beating Tennessee for you.
Mm-hmm.
How do you treat those teams moving forward? Because I think there was a lot of questions around both programs heading into the game.
Good news is Carson Beck bounced back into form. tight end production. It wasn't Lucky Lawson. It was Oscar Delp. It doesn't matter. You're starting to showcase what you had last year.
Yeah.
Defense looked a little suspect early on, but they bounced back with a great effort in the second half. I like this team. I really do. The biggest question mark was the turnovers by Carson Beck. I told you last year he had 7 overall. Entering that game over the previous 4 weeks, it was 9.
Yeah.
So he was not consistent. If he's going to put up 280, 290 every week, and you're going to get that defensive effort, deserve it. I never discounted Georgia as not being a team to be in the playoff, but certainly not the same team that we saw from the start of the season to the end last year. They've been a little up and down, but it's all due to Carson Beck.
So I think everything you said is totally fair. Here's what I'm going to push on. I said going into the game, I said I can't call them the best team in college football anymore. I can't.
Okay.
I can now.
But that's okay.
And here's no one will agree with that, I feel. But here's my thing, Joe. They have 3 wins.
Right.
Against teams inside the top 20.
Yeah.
14 plus.
Right.
Nobody else has 2.
No.
Like, if this team didn't have multiple losses, they'd be the greatest team in college football history, man.
Agreed.
The schedule has been crazy. Like, and listen, the AP poll is what it is, or Ben's top 10. Like, if you put Penn State in front of Georgia, you don't watch college football.
No,
come on.
And here's the thing:
come on,
if
they beat
Georgia
that team by
and
600 points.
If Penn State and Georgia played on a neutral field, Georgia would be a 6.5, 7 point favorite.
That's light. Should be more.
Well,
You know
I'm
what I
just saying.
I'm just saying.
They would give Penn State the benefit of the doubt
They
because I agree.
We'd be at the window. I know that about us. We would be. I wonder. I tell you though, if you're Tennessee, man, the timing of that loss could work out. The big game this weekend is Indiana. That's one of the big questions for me. Is do they drop Tennessee?
How do they lose?
Big question. We're going to do a little NFL. We got Lisi with you right here on SportsGrid.
Together, both Devontae Adams and Garrett Wilson had huge nights. Aaron Rodgers loves the 2 big targets, and he says if this is going to happen, going to be very tough on the defense to decide who they want to go after.
Adams and this kid Wilson, I won't deny what they can do, but nobody else does jack.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Grandma Bear, who owns the football team, probably comes in, gives a little, oh, man, you're such a good little boy out there. Congratulations, the way you coach this football team. I'm never going to fire you.
Totally, I missed you pinching your own cheek as I was looking down and did not know we were getting.
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there with that guy named Ben. Like, that's what your grandma will do to you when you go see her on Thanksgiving or Christmas,
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
All right, live right here on SportsGrid. Good news for the crew. Louis Heel has won the Rookie of the Year in the American League, which is good for our producer, AJ, so we're happy to see that there. Also awesome that you wait until baseball could not be any less relevant to announce at least it'd be like if they announced the Heisman in March.
Yeah, well, there you go.
But they don't do that.
I know.
College football's a real sport.
Well, the best sport in town.
I love it. By the way, people are going to want a basketball pick before we get out of here.
I got it.
But you want to do it now or you want to wait?
I'll do it now.
Go ahead.
This Texas Tech team
laying
a huge number today against Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah.
40.5. They're going to smash. Typically, I'd say take the dog, right? They're begging you to take Arkansas. But Texas Tech smash 60-plus at home in Lubbock.
That's gutsy. That's gutsy. You said it, not me.
Right.
You. All right, I love it.
Suffocating defense.
Let's talk gutsy. Let's talk not gutsy.
God.
I don't know what the Cincinnati Bengals are. I got to be honest with you.
That game last night,
I don't know what
bitter.
they are.
I'm a little bitter. Josh Palmer, 2 yards.
Okay, that makes sense. 2 yards, 25-plus. I don't really – the Cincinnati Bengals are having Joe Burrow play a phenomenal season. Jamar Chase, monster. They can't play complete football games, whether that's within the game, whether that's both sides of the ball. But I told the crew today, I made them go through the schedule. I still think they can make the playoffs in the AFC.
If any team can, it's them. If we're talking Miami, if we're talking the Jets, you name it, Indy, what else? Denver. I take a shot on Cincy. Now, that being said, I think their defense is atrocious and probably most likely will hold them back from making a playoff. But the other factor is, too, how many – I told you yesterday, how many times can you sell, hey, all we got to do is go on a heater, right? They're on a bye week. Then they play Pittsburgh coming out. Yeah, got to have that game. They're dead and buried. They lose that.
The problem for this team is they have no good wins. Yet, you could tell me that they should have beat all the good teams they played other than Philly, who absolutely dumped them on their head. Thank you. But really, Joe. Right?
I know, but they can't win at home, really.
They should have beat Baltimore twice, right? I don't know if they should have beat the Chargers. I know they had a lot of opportunities to beat the Chargers last night.
You could have said they should have beaten the Patriots week 1.
Forget that.
I know.
It happens. There's week 1 upsets all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it was costly because this team doesn't have a lot of leeway. But I wonder if this is a team whose deficiencies are going to stop them from winning games. But Joe, the rest of the schedule?
Yeah.
Home against Pittsburgh off a bye.
Okay.
At Dallas. At Tennessee. Home against the Browns. Home against the Broncos. At Pittsburgh. Joe, it's
so
if
they split the Pittsburgh games, right?
Okay.
And then they win those 4. That's 5 more wins. They have 9.
How about this? Let's remove.
Are they getting in at 9 and 8?
Remove Week 18 for a second.
Okay.
Because
we don't know if Pittsburgh could be number 1 seed.
They're going to be favored in every game until Week 18.
Okay. You don't know.
No, they're going to be favored.
No, I know they're going to be favored. I'm saying they might have backups in. I mean, think about
but that's what But what my point is, they're going to be favored in their next 5.
It's if anybody could do it, it's Burrow and that group, Chase and Higgins. I mean, Higgins with 148 yards last night.
I understand.
I mean,
it's
amazing.
Still loss, though. Stick in the AFC. Did you take more away from Buffalo winning or KC losing?
Buffalo winning. The fact that they closed it out, Josh Allen, and again, I know how we feel about Kansas City. I don't think they're as dominant as they were in years past. They've been living close to the vest all year long. They've had their first loss. They go on the road now to face Carolina coming out of a bye. Let's see what they have. Is this going to be Philly last year? Could be.
Here's the thing, man. Mahomes is the boogeyman, and he's done it so many times.
Yeah, but he looked sloppy yesterday, too, with the interception.
He's looked bad all year.
Yeah.
He's looked bad all year. And I'm just telling you, Mahomes is in the conversations for the best.
Yes.
Okay? If Tom Brady in the heat of his prime was just all of a sudden terrible, again, I know terrible might be strong, but come on. Joe, what are we doing here with this? I mean, the interceptions are nonstop.
Yeah, and
7 yards a pass.
And the way he threw that ball for the interception was terrible in the first half. I mean, it was terrible. He just chucked it.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's the worst season of his career.
Yeah.
And it's his worst season since last year, though, because those are the 2 worst seasons of his career.
Right.
He's getting worse. I don't know what people you want me to tell you. He's getting worse.
And the wide receiver inexperience is starting to catch up to them. I know they have veterans there. They have Juju. They have somebody, some others. But DeAndre. But again, you need more out of Worthy on a consistent basis week to week.
Ravens are the Cowboys. They're frauds. They just are. Something's not right with them. They can't get the job done. They're showing it too many times. You got the pregame show on deck.